What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today is a continuation of the series that we started last week, which is the Ball Boys with Adam and Alex. I don't think we need to do introductions again. If you want to know who these two absolute weirdos are, check the first episode. Anyway, so it'll be the same kind of structure as the last episode. So we're just going to go over the fixtures of the last game week. Starting off this week, we've got Brighton versus Manchester United. So prepare for another 20-minute rant by Alex.
It'll take up most of the episode.
So let's just put it into perspective first. So the game ended 3-2 to Manchester United. So yeah, what happened was Maupay scored a penalty, did the crying face, which Alex absolutely hates, as you can tell by his face. Dunk then scores an own goal, which then makes it 1-1. Rashford scores a pretty nice goal as well, so that United can go ahead. March then scores a 95th minute goal, and you all think, oh my God, it's game over, 2-2. No, somehow there's a plus 10-minute goal that after the full-time whistle went. So technically it's a goal that wasn't even within 90 minutes. Yeah. First game in Premier League history where it's gone to extra time.
There's Fergie time, now there's Ole time.
It's blood magic. I told you, it's Norwegian blood magic, man. It's how it happens, isn't it? It was one of those games where I think it actually shows us that pre-season is crucial. In all seriousness, it shows us how badly a pre-season is needed. And I only say that because if we look at every other team that's played roughly about 61 games, it's similar to what United played 61 games last season, the calendar year. Now, if you work that out, that's nearly, well, it's a game every week.
It's more than a game a week.
Every week, yeah. It clearly showed because United lacked fitness, but in context-wise, City got annihilated. PSG lost both their first games. Bayern Munich lost 4-1. Borussia Dortmund lost 2-0. And I know a lot of people going, oh, why are Liverpool playing so bad towards the end of the season? I remember even you said you think it's because they're getting drunk. I think it was Klopp was resting. Relax a little bit. Don't use your energy. You've won the league. And then prepare yourself for next season. No one else had the chance to do that. A few crucial points to that game. The first one is if you're gonna be a dick and you're gonna do the crying face, win the game.
Pretty much.
That's my whole thing. Mbappe can do it because Mbappe knows PSG are going to win the game most 9 times out of 10. But if you're going to do the crying face when there's no fans, so it's more personal because all right, you're doing it to fans, okay, I guess.
Yeah. If
you're doing it to no one, man, it's a sign of disrespect and non-sportsmanship. Some positives for this game: Eric Bailly coming back on, solidified the defence. I just hope he's not made of glass this season. I said it last week, and I hope this week he's a very, very good defender. Greenwood was unlucky not to get a goal. It was unfortunate it was ruled offside. I thought the midfield was struggling a lot, which is unfortunate. But highlights were Rashford's goal. Rashford played well, in my opinion. I still think he needs to make a few more decisions. We said in the chat, because we have our own little chat. But I said it in the chat.
Yeah, I think we kind of like sussed out that Rashford's very good on the wing because he's very good with the ball in front of his feet. But up top, where you're very much, you need, even though you're not necessarily a target man striker, predominantly you play with your back towards goal. And Rashford is not very good at that. He's very good at running with the ball rather than holding it and letting other people get involved.
Yeah. If he sees your knees are wobbling, he'll run at you. And poor Ben White is still recovering. I mean, last week I gave Ben White loads of praise. Against Rashford, he looked like a fool. Last week, I got really angry about the handball rule because it went against us. I would be a hypocrite to suggest I'm happy about this week's handball rule.
Honestly, I'm fuming with this week's handball rule. I'll get to it a little bit later on.
But genuinely, unlucky Brighton. They played good football. They were very creative. Midfield was overrun, so I don't think we're going to have that problem anymore in terms of, I think we're going to see a switch of Pogba now. I don't think he's going to be playing predominantly as much as he should.
Do you think that's because of fitness or because of lack of tactical familiarity in how Ollie plays?
Okay, so I think it's a bit of both. I think last season, obviously, we played him a bit deeper. I don't think that works well now. In the double pivot, I don't think he plays very well on a double pivot. I found the beat plays better in a double pivot.
Yeah.
If you want to play Pogba, you need to play him as number 6. That's the whole point. He was brilliant in Juventus for that, and he was brilliant in his first season in Mourinho as well. I think with Van der Beek coming on, the pressure for him to create and tactically be that player, it's not necessarily needed as much. I don't think if he's working out or he's struggling we now have a player that can, come on for him. And
my opinion on Paul Pogba, it's quite simple. I think he's a quality player. He doesn't get enough recognition that he deserves. I think the price tag on his head, it's like a negative to him before you've even seen him play. Because he's a lot of money. So people just automatically say, what a waste of money. People did that when we signed Van Dijk. But my opinion of him is that I just don't think he's hungry enough, because what Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi have always been, they've been hungry regardless of where they've been in their career. Ronaldo was getting 40, 50 goals a season, and he was still thinking to himself, this still isn't good enough. And he kept pushing to get more and more and more. And that's how he became the player he is now. He's like 20% talent, 80% just hard grinding work. Like, he's worked so hard on his career to be where he is now. Paul Pogba just seems like he's content with where he is, and he doesn't really want to be hungry to do so. He thinks, from the way I see it, his body language and everything, he just seems like he's happy with where he is. He's happy with how good he is.
I think
he's not willing to improve.
I feel a bit bad for Pogba in regards to his move to Real Madrid. Didn't come about because of COVID. The price tag of the season was priced out of United as well. I think we put 150 million on his head. It's going to be difficult for anyone to buy him.
He isn't worth that.
No.
Not on his current state.
I would argue only about 2 or 3 players in the world are worth 150 million. I do think we could probably get the market value back for him. I think if we tried to sell him for 90, we probably could. But like I said, with the no real players, that's just a different topic for a different day. But the transfer market was crazy before COVID. You wouldn't have got a player like Thiago for 20 million like you did a season ago, and we it was mind-boggling numbers that we were producing.
Yeah.
I always think he's more talent than dedication. In terms of, I think he's always been naturally a talented player at United.
Look at him when he plays for France. When he has that determination, he's world class.
Yeah, I mean, he's man of the match for the World Cup final.
Yeah.
I think obviously the best player you can compare Pogba to would be De Bruyne. And De Bruyne is obviously a superior player. I'm not saying Pogba is De Bruyne. I'm talking about in their ability to create out of nothing, their ability to press. But I think the difference between De Bruyne and Pogba is De Bruyne's dedication to the game, De Bruyne's training, work ethic. Overall, he's the best midfielder on the planet, right? We can all agree on that. De Bruyne's the best midfielder on the planet. And again, he didn't get there through talent. He got there through dedication, work ethic, everything, all these factors involved. I really think we need to see a little bit more from Paul Pogba, because, only 2 seasons ago, he was getting about 13 assists and 13 goals. Yeah. Last season, he obviously was injured, but when he came back, he wasn't really the same. And everyone was really hyped about Bruno and Pogba joining and playing together. And in this game against Brighton, they were just being overrun. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to work out that Adam Lallana shouldn't be overrunning any midfield. No offense to Adam Lallana, but he wasn't playing a full game of football for quite a while now.
Yeah, I think he was a brilliant signing for Brighton. He's the exact player that they need, this like creative unit in the midfield. But back on Pogba, I think the player that I would closely compare him with, it wouldn't necessarily be De Bruyne, but it's someone who wasn't nowhere near as good as he was back then. But I'd compare him to Yaya Toure. He was very much similar to how he was, where he picked the ball up deep and he ran it forwards. And he's a very, very, very physical player. Yeah, he's a very, very physical player. Because like De Bruyne, I'm gonna give it to him. He's fantastic up in the attacking areas. Defensively, not as strong. That's definitely where Pogba beats him in that aspect. But it's like at the moment with Pogba at United, it just seems like as soon as he's on the ball, he's happy to do everything. He wants to be creative. When the ball isn't with him, he's so lazy. He doesn't do anything. Yeah. He doesn't move. Yeah. He doesn't want to defend. He just sits where he is and he expects the ball to be played around him. So
the work ethic's poor.
Yeah. It is awful. And I think that's why Ole chooses to get rid of him after 60 minutes because he's thinking, I need this creative unit, but I need someone to run into the channels rather than just wait for the ball to come to you.
Yeah, that's something I noticed again with Van der Beek is that the guy is always running back up forward. Going on the penalty, obviously, I know it was after the full time, but it was Van der Beek who pushed it forward, carried the ball up. There's that mentality you need. You need as soon as, okay, we can still win this. I mean, obviously, we paid the refs off, and I'm happy with that, but I know I'm still a love of Fred. I do. I still love Fred. His stats last season were brilliant.
Yeah.
In terms of tackles per minute, successful tackles, and he has the vision to pass forward. I like Matic, but I think Matic is too slow. I think if you want to play the modern game now, you need a faster defensive midfielder. We saw the beginning of that with Conte. We now see it with Fabinho. We're now seeing it with Fernandinho. You see it with all these players who can sit back, join the two in behind to make it a free if necessary. Sometimes be a sweeper, sometimes be a destroyer. But as soon as they get the ball, their focus is forward.
Fabinho works so well with Mane. They have like a telepathic connection. It's so fantastic.
And whenever Fred is on, he's thinking like that. He's always going, okay, how do I get the ball to Rashford? How do I get the ball to Martial? Matic doesn't think that way. Matic gets the ball and his brain is, okay, Luke Shaw.
This is the reason why I think Liverpool's transfer business is better than United's, because United buy the ready-made talent, Liverpool buy potential.
It was never always like that, though.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It's because you're in this ditch. You're trying to get out. In my opinion, United are never going to get back to where they are if they keep focusing on what was before. It's never going to happen. That's why we lasted 30 years without getting a title, because we kept clutching onto the thing that we were before. With United, there's no quick fix. It's not going to happen. It took like 25 years and then Klopp to come in to slap us all in the face and be like, you're not going to buy ready-made talent and expect changes like this. You have to do a project. You have to buy players in that slowly integrate to your style of play, rather than buying players in who are ready-made in their prime of their career, playing a completely different style of football, and then just throwing this new style on them. It's not going to work. It never has. It never will. If you buy players who are young, who then can adapt to your style of play, you're gonna reap the rewards. It's gonna be fantastic. Like with Klopp, when he signed Mo Salah, fair enough, he didn't sign Firmino. That was Rodgers, but he made Firmino into what he is now. And then he signed Mane. All three of which you can be forgiven if you didn't know who they were before we signed them. All three of them together came to the same price as one Paul Pogba. Next game, Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1.
F for Palace.
F for Palace.
To be fair, Everton are steamrolling everyone at the minute, and we have them in 2 games' time. This is what happens when fans overhype a team's performance. People overhyped what Palace did last week. I have to say that it wasn't because I have to say Palace did very, very well, but Hodgson always plays well against the big six. But what he falls short with is he plays so poorly against, with all due respect to Everton and teams like them, teams that are lower down the table. He falls short at. That's why Hodgson has always been good at a lower league team. That's why when he came to Liverpool, he was crap. Goal scorers. So we had Calvert-Lewin, scored in the 10th minute. He's going to score pretty much every game this season, isn't he?
He's coming into his own.
Czech Kouyaté scored for Crystal Palace in the 26th minute, and then Richarlison scored a pen in the 40th minute, and that's it. My opinion, Calvert-Lewin, fantastic. Here's a nice stat for you. Ever since Carlo Ancelotti has come into Everton, no player in the league has scored more Premier League goals than Calvert-Lewin. I like Calvert-Lewin. I think he's a good player, but Carlo Ancelotti's definitely helping him overperform. Their other goal scorer, Richarlison, can't see him staying at Everton too much longer. Everton did reject it was a £90 million bid from Barcelona last season. Richarlison has come into his own a little bit. He's been a lot more consistent in front of goal in the recent years, because when he was at Watford, his goals to game ratio was horrific. How Everton signed him for £45 million, got no idea. I mean, to be fair, Everton have a history of signing flops. Iwobi for 30 million. Next joke, please.
Did anybody see Roy Hodgson's rant after the game?
I did.
I did not.
I
Go on,
completely
elaborate.
agreed with it.
Oh yeah. For once, yeah. I mean, he basically said that handballs should be, ball to hand, and everything else is stupid.
Common sense.
And,
Should use common sense.
I can't disagree with him.
The thing that really annoys me, not only with this handball rule, but with VAR as well, it's very, very easy for VAR to give you a penalty, but it seems so hard for the VAR to overturn a penalty decision. It's very lopsided.
Yeah.
I will give Palace credit where credit's due, though. They are looking like a decent team this season.
I can't see them going down. This game that I thought they genuinely 100% got robbed. West Brom 3, Chelsea 3. How West Brom didn't win this game, I swear, who was the referee? I don't think it tells me. But he's from London. He's a Chelsea fan, 100%. How that wasn't a foul, which led to Abraham's goal to get 3-3, I have no idea. If they're calling all these stupid handballs for pens, how aren't they calling a blatant one as a foul for the defensive team? Didn't Havertz
get a very dodgy sort of handball?
Yeah, it was 100% a handball. It was more clear-cut than the one that Newcastle got against Spurs.
I'll tell you what, it's crazy, man.
I just don't get it. I just don't get
the
this
rules are
handball rule.
They're going crazy.
But with this game, it just highlighted the issues that I pointed out about Chelsea last week, where they've bought so many starting 11 players. They're trying to throw them all in at once, and it just is not working. That team looked like 11 individuals.
Thiago Silva got a real treat into the Premier League, didn't he?
That mistake to Robinson's second goal. What are you thinking? Also, credit to Robinson. 2 chances, 2 goals. He took them brilliantly.
Very clinical. Well, I find it funny. Chelsea spend millions and millions on a brand new starting 11. Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham, homegrown talent from their academy saves them. It just shows their model is just broken.
This game did highlight the quality of Mateus Pereira, though, didn't it, for West Brom?
He's clearly the best player by a league above. And if they do end up going down, he will not be there to go down with them.
That's not even in doubt. We're going down.
Do you guys think this is Chelsea's title hopes gone then?
Yep.
I think, like I said last week, their title hopes were gone when they couldn't beat the champions. You got to send a statement. If you want to be the title challengers, you got to beat the title contenders the champions.
Well, they've got 4 points from a possible 9. Bearing in mind, we've just played against 2 of the top 6, and we've got 9 points.
Bold of you to assume Arsenal's in the top 6.
Famous top 6, then, if you know what I mean. Next game, a former player scoring against his former team. Adam, you idolise this man. Southampton 1, Burnley 0. Danny Ings, only goal scorer.
Danny Ings. Oh, he's fantastic. I love him. I just love him.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. This game was beyond boring, even on Match of the Day highlights. It was boring.
The goal was in the first 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah.
If I knew that was the last game, I'd have just turned off after the Ings goal, but I didn't know.
From your opinion, as you really do like Danny Ings, what's your general analysis of how he plays, how he fits into the Southampton team? What do you think he could bring to them this season?
What you see often with Southampton's attacks is they're looking for Danny Ings often. And Ings has the quality now, and provided his injury woes are behind him, he could propel Southampton to the top of the mid-table and make them a really solid team.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to do it with Che Adams.
Do you think it's going to be closer to what Mauricio Pochettino did with Southampton then, when they crept into the top 7? Or do you think they're not there yet?
I think a couple of midfield changes and maybe a couple of centre-backs as well, because I don't even know who the Southampton centre-backs are. That's how...
I think it's Jan Bednarek is one of them. Vestergaard as well.
A couple of changes there. Get a more defensive midfielder for James Ward-Prowse. And I think they can be looking at mid-table every season, possibly even sneaking into Europe.
Yeah. If
one of the top 6 have a bad season.
I think the Tottenham game, in my opinion, it showed some of the cracks in the Southampton team where if Hassan Hurtel wants to go far with this team, he needs to not play such a high line. Mourinho didn't set up Spurs to attack their high line. It was more what Kane and Son did in the game, where Son was originally starting on the left-hand side. And then they saw that Southampton was playing such a high line. Kane told Son to go up top and Kane will play behind Son because Son's got that pace to beat the trap. And that's why Kane got 4 assists and Son scored 4 times because they worked so well together to beat that high line. So I think if Southampton want more consistency this season, they need to stop with that high line. Leeds versus Sheffield United. 0-0 for pretty much the entire game. And then Patrick Bamford scored. Dying moments.
Leeds have a decent keeper, you know. Sheffield United, obviously, not being too humble, but I think they're struggling with the loss of Dean Henderson. And I only say that not as a brag, but he was there for 2 seasons. He got used to the players, defence, back line. You lose your goalkeeper, you know, your defence needs time to reshuffle.
They've also had defensive injuries as well because I believe it's John Egan's out injured as is.
Yeah, exactly.
His first name is injured as well.
Well, let's just say that Dean Henderson had one of the best save percentages last season in the Premier League, and they replaced him with Aaron Ramsdale, who had one of the worst.
And another thing with Sheffield United, and no offence to them, but do you often find that the strikes, they're a bit of a blunt knife? Yeah. I don't find their attack dangerous. Like if Sheffield go on a counter, my first thought isn't, oh, this is going to be a goal. I'm almost sort of like a bit wary of where this is going to go.
One of you lads in your Premier League predictions had Jack Harrison as your breakout player. Yeah, Adam. He got the assist for Bamford's goal. He got a goal and assist against Liverpool as well, I believe. But he's done well at the beginning of this season. All right, so the next game is the one that we're all going to go towards for VAR and the handball rule. Tottenham 1, Newcastle United 1.
Did anybody actually feel sorry for Jose this time?
Yeah.
No.
I did.
The reason why I don't, it's not because I hate Jose. The reason why I don't is Spurs had so many chances and they just did not finish their dinner. They did it once.
23 shots by Tottenham, 6 by Newcastle United.
So they kind of dug their own grave. You can never, ever, ever have a 1-0 lead and think, we're safe.
This is what I was saying to my colleague earlier today as well. I said, to be honest, this handball wouldn't have been spoke about as much if they were 2 or 3 up.
Yeah.
It may have got a bit of it may have been given a bit
scrutiny,
if it wasn't for the 1-1. But then that was exactly what Jose Mourinho did at United and at the end of Chelsea as well, is with these sort of 1-0s, hoping to sort of survive the game. I don't think he's learnt his lesson. I do feel a bit bad for him. Obviously, like anyone, it sucks to, lose or can draw right at the end. But at the end of the day, they've got Son, Lucas, they've got Kane. There shouldn't be in any doubt in my mind that game should have been put to bed a long time ago. This is the team that lost, was it 4-1 last week? Newcastle lost 4-1 last week, didn't they?
3-0, I think.
3-0 last week.
That's Brighton.
Against Brighton, so yeah. There's a team that, as a team that's trying to compete in the Europa League, you've got to push and you've got to get your goals. And I can guarantee, now I'm saying all of this, we're going to come back to this video because Spurs are going to beat United on Sunday, aren't they?
I think it will be a close encounter, not because both teams are in good form, because both teams are playing badly. It will be a very conservative performance from both sides, I think. What do you think should happen with this new handball rule?
Get rid of it.
I think everyone in the nation can agree on 3 things. 1, wear a mask. 2, Boris doesn't know what he's doing. And 3, get rid of the handball rule.
I can tell you right now, I know plenty of people who disagree with all 3.
Yes.
This is what you say to all 3. Suck my nipple.
But yeah, get rid of the handball rule.
Yeah.
Yeah,
terrible.
simple.
Well, that's Kane, 5 assists in 2 games.
Yeah, what's happening? Why is he becoming Kevin De Bruyne and Trent? What's happening here?
If he carries on like this, he might be Henry's record. 20 assists in 1 season.
That would be funny if the Tottenham player did it. Because you could just watch AFTV just melt down over me.
AFTV melt down when Arsenal wins 4-0, so nothing new.
Can we become the new Ball Boys TV? Yes, blood. I hate... Adam, you're about to summon a witch if you keep speaking like that. Your furniture's going to start flying.
You guys fancy a laugh?
Go on then.
Leicester 5, City 2.
Wait. And one more. Good point.
All right, so yeah, this game, initially, City started firing. And I thought, this is going to be an absolute massacre.
Bloodbath.
After that Mahrez goal in the 4th minute, that was an absolute screamer. And they scored and thought, job's done.
Their defence was in shambles. £400 million spent on defenders now, and you've conceded 3 penalties.
I have to say, this week proves Guardiola's a fraud. He's a 100% a fraud. He thinks, rather than me thinking I'm having issues with my defence, hang on, let me check my tactics. He doesn't. He just opens his wallet and goes, there you go, lads.
I understand the need for a centre-back. Don't get me wrong, because Stones is atrocious and Otamendi was as slow as anything.
Otamendi's going the other way.
Oh, yeah, no, he's going for Diaz. He's going away,
Diaz,
isn't he? Mendy is so suspect. He was suspect last season as well.
He's terrible.
£50 million for a left-back who's not even played 50 Premier League games for them. In one season, when France won the World Cup, he won the Premier League. He then won a quadruple and the World Cup, and he played 7 matches all year.
We all have that one person in group meetings, innit? Does nothing and gets the A. That's Mendy, yeah. Vardy, clinical as always. But I think if we're going to highlight the fault with City, there's one goal that I think really emphasises it, and that was the Maddison goal. Because I think Maddison himself thought he was about to be closed down and challenged and tackled. And when he realised he wasn't, he shot from quite a far out distance and bagged an easy goal.
They just seemed timid, didn't they? City just seemed scared of him.
They backed off him, and I'm thinking, come on, like City of old wouldn't be doing this. Fernandinho would be crunching him. I think, to be fair though, we'll be blind to Pep's new challenges and tactics, which is now his tactical fouls. You know how he used to do them in the middle of the pitch?
Yeah.
He's now doing them in the penalty box.
Clearly, yeah.
It's an interesting tactic.
It's an interesting one, to say the least. Injuries are killing City off quite heavily. Their injury list is atrocious at the moment.
They're relying on senior players. They haven't replaced them. What Klopp has done, Guardiola needs to do as well. Klopp has signed Jota before Mane's even reached his peak. 100%, he's getting sacked by City. At some point, he's getting sacked, and it's going to ruin his 100% record. He's getting sacked. Because if you look at it from a perspective of, they brought Guardiola in to win the Champions League. He's been there 4 seasons. All he's done is continue what City had already done. He's not progressed the team in any way, shape or form. Yeah, he's got a bigger point haul. That's it. They don't want that. They want the Champions League, and he's got nowhere near it. They got closer to the Champions League the season before Pep even came in.
David Moyes from Manchester United hit the same stage as Pep Guardiola at Manchester City in the Champions League.
Yep.
That's not me. That's the T.
Pep Guardiola is a Johnson.
He used my phrase. Ball Boys terminology, lads. He did a Johnson.
He did a Johnson.
We've laughed at City enough. What's the next match?
I honestly think, even with Leicester beating City, this is the biggest shock this weekend. West Ham 4, Wolves 0. I honestly thought West Ham were a shoo-in to go down. Raul Jimenez scored, just in the wrong bloody goal.
Sebastian Haller finally scored a goal.
I know.
Can we just give a moment to think about all those people who triple captained Jimenez?
He got 0 points.
I'm kind of glad I didn't get him this season. I had him last season, but I swapped him this time. That's their biggest defeat with their current manager at the moment.
Yeah, Nuno Espirito Santo.
I've never seen that mentality where, they sort of went, whoa, what's going on? And fair play to West Ham. They smelt blood and they went for it. They could sniff it and they went, hold on. The Wolves injured.
God, Wolves were just terrible. It was a terrible display. I mean, they had 64% possession or something like that. And then they get hammered 4-0.
That just proves West Ham's more deadly on the counter. They were so...
West Ham aren't deadly on the counter. We've seen them for years. They're terrible.
So, next game, I saw the tail end of this match, but I didn't see the entire match. It was Aston Villa 3, Fulham 0.
Grealish is going to be the sole surviving person of why they're kept up again, isn't he? His goal, I can't lie, was very nice. Decent little touch. He got there first and he beat the keeper from point blank range. I mean, to be fair, it was either smash it in the goal or smash it the keeper. Went in. He got a very nice assist. Very nice ball. Again, fast, always looking up. Good little player, man. Good little player. Got a good attitude. He's got that swagger about him as well. He knows he's a top dog at Aston Villa. He clearly knows that he's the best player, but he doesn't put it in the wrong way. He also uses it against the opponents, and it doesn't seem to affect the team.
I'm happy he switched allegiances from Ireland to England.
Well, we're never going to be friends with the Irish guy from HITC then.
I think, to be honest, I kind of don't feel bad for Fulham anymore.
No.
Scott Parker has had more than enough time to realize what the Premier League was before he went down. And if you keep coming up and trying to play your football, you're going to lose. And I'm convinced, in all seriousness, lads, if we cut out our drinking and we actually train for like 5 minutes, we could give Fulham a run for their money.
But look at their back three. Dennis Adoy, I think it's Michael Hector and Tim Ream.
Dennis Adoy was horrific in this game. He was awful. By far the worst player this weekend. By far. Easily. That game looked like he was a League 2 quality defender. He was that bad. He was awful.
Look, if you know your centre back's having an absolute howler, right, and you can see it, regardless if their name is Van Dijk or if their name is Adam Potter, you sub them off at the end of the day because it affects all the team. That was literally that game. You went, hold on. Now the midfield have to overwork hard because they can't trust the back. The goalkeeper's paranoid and shaky because he can't trust his forward defence. It affects everyone. It is a chain reaction.
Did you see what he tweeted to the fans after the game? He tweeted that he was upset with the result. Well, this is the director of football, so it's the owner's son.
Tony Khan.
Yeah. He said he was upset with the result, and he said that they definitely need defensive reinforcements. Number one, you're giving away your transfer plans to your fans. Number two, how bad do you think the defenders of Fulham are going to feel when the owner actively comes out and says, you're not good enough? Honestly, don't do it. I watched the Sky Sports analysis of it, and Jamie Carragher and Roy Keane ripped into him, and they were like, why are you doing that? Just stay quiet. Yes, you can replace the defence. 100%. Just stay quiet. Don't get involved. Like, what's the point? You're just making matters worse.
You know what I've noticed, though? Because Tony Khan, the director of football at Fulham, is also currently a director of All Elite Wrestling in AEW, which is meant to be taking on the WWE.
Yeah.
But ever since he's been doing that, Fulham and their activity has just dropped. Like, nothing's really changed since.
Yeah, his interest in something else.
His interests are elsewhere. They're with AEW. So I think they need a new football director with. But they won't do that because, well, he's the son of the owner. And Fulham's going to suffer.
What this did show in this game, well, number one, it showed how bad Fulham's defence was, because this was Aston Villa's first clean sheet in 26 away games. 26 away Premier League games is their first clean sheet.
Oof.
That's horrific. Villa played well. I'm not going to say otherwise. Tyrone Mings is showing another reason why he's like the next up-and-coming English defender. So running on to the next game, this is the last game of the game week as well. Liverpool 3, Arsenal 1. I have to say, Arsenal were shocking. They scored one, but we put them on the plate for them.
Are we going to honestly talk about it like in a biased fashion, or am I going to be like honest here with Arteta?
Go on.
Everyone goes on about Arteta's masterclass, right? He goes, oh, Arteta's got a masterclass. Arteta's this, Arteta's that. Arteta threw 10 men behind the ball. If his name was Jose Arteta, OEO, people be going, well, what's going on here? You know, it was atrocious. I was thinking, okay, you may not have the players he wants. You may not have the backing he needs. You can give any excuse you want to give, right? But the fact that several things went wrong in that game for Arsenal, but their performance was still crap, you can't blame the mistakes. Liverpool, it pains me to say this, are a very good team. They're the best team in England by a country mile.
Yep.
Their fitness is a country mile above everyone else's. When you conceded, I have to say, and no due respect, but Van Dijk, Robertson have to look at themselves and go, what went wrong there? Because Van Dijk should have cleared the ball first. He didn't. Robertson then should have cleared the ball again. He didn't. And Lacazette got a very nice goal.
It was very poor finish.
It was an atrocious finish, but it was a goal at the end of the day. But the way you hit back, unfortunately for Salah, should have been, maybe he should have got the goal. But Mane's positioning, I said before, the best left winger in the game, purely because of his ability to finish the ball, and the positions he's in, his speed and his creativity.
You were right last week. Arteta has come from the school of Guardiola. And the reason why he has is because he's stubborn as hell. The reason why he's incredibly stubborn, I think, is because he's trying to play a Pep Guardiola system with players who are nowhere near as good as the ones who play for City. His defence are not suited to playing out from the back, yet he still thinks, yeah, we can do this. Against the best pressing team on the planet, he still thinks they can do it. And you could see how poor they were, because we just grabbed the ball every single time.
How Robertson wasn't picked up for his goal was a bit embarrassing.
He redeemed himself in the most perfect way possible.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. To be honest, I do think it was a bit unfortunate for him. Everyone's going, "Oh, Robertson, what are you doing?" That's Virgil van Dijk, right? You expect him to clear that ball.
With Robertson's mistake, it can come down to one thing. He should have cleared it with his right foot, but he's very much a one-footed player. So he had to go in a very weird angle and try and clear it with his left.
It didn't work.
Ended up being unbalanced. He hits it wrong, and it falls into Lacazette's path.
But Jota, brilliant goal from Jota.
Yeah. What a finish as well. What a finish.
To be honest, Leno had a bit of a stinker. Let's be honest.
Leno, I was having this conversation with people in the pub yesterday. Martinez has gone to Aston Villa. He's played 2 games, kept 2 clean sheets, and saved a pen. That's better than Leno's done in God knows how long.
Yeah, and the second thing
big mess up
is a lot of people, it's getting lost under the radar, but Alisson's save versus the one-on-one with Lacazette deserves some recognition because it was a very big power move.
Yeah.
It sort of shut down any ability for Arsenal to come back.
Alisson showed in that game he's the best goalkeeper on the planet.
Black, it's a hard one, isn't it? It's a hard one.
It's very much between Alisson and Black.
Prem, but him and Black will be battling it out for years now, I think.
I think they would be, yeah, but I don't see enough of Black to give that kind of.
I was saying that might be like the Spanish people. If people in Spain would probably say the same about Alisson.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think, that save sort of killed any hope. It killed the Arsenal hope.
Well,
as much as it was a great save from Alisson, it was also a terrible finish from Lacazette.
Yeah, I mean, Lacazette.
Oh yeah, it was awful.
You give that Aubameyang.
That's it for this episode of The Ball Boys. Catch us next week around the same time. It will be episode 3, and we're speaking about the next game week.
It's The Ball Boys.
So, matches including Leeds, Manchester City, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Leicester, West Ham, Man United, Tottenham, the big one. I'll catch you all guys in the next video. And I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification to be notified whenever I upload. And I'll see you all guys. I'll see all you guys soon. All right. Peace.